Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. James Gunn and Grant Gustin were recently posting about the new DCU Flash as part of some larger things that are happening with the DC movies right now. James Gunn also gave some new updates on his DCU Batman for Brave and the Bold, the new Wonder Woman, the Superman 2 Man of Tomorrow movie, so we'll break it all down, and how this new Flash fits into the DCU movie plan in the next few years, since he's already revealed what the next batch of movies and TV shows is going to be the next couple of years, and which new characters they're meant to feature. And for those of you that have been wanting to see the new version of DCU Darkseid, we also just found out that they're going to be casting him for another new TV show that I'll talk about during the video too. We also have the Super Bowl coming up, and we'll probably get some kind of trailer for either Supergirl or Lanterns or both. I just did teaser trailer videos for both of those a little while ago, so I will link those at the end of this. The whole reason why everyone's going crazy about the new DCU Flash last week was Grant Gustin started posting a bunch of pictures of himself with dyed blonde hair in front of posters of The Flash. Doesn't this look a little familiar? If you watch the Flash TV show, you probably instantly recognize this, like Leonardo DiCaprio meme pointing at the screen. The one right above him is from The Flash Season 2, when Zoom was still pretending to be Jay Garrick, and they were parodying this classic Flash comic book where Barry Allen met Jay Garrick for the first time in the comics. The other poster that's cut off right next to him is the Supergirl Flash crossover, the first Supergirl Flash crossover, because they did that multiple times in the Flash TV show. Since the Flash TV show ended and James Gunn rebooted the DCEU into the DCU, pretty much everybody's wanted to see Grant Gustin come back in the DCU as one of the new Flashes, even if he's not going to be the new main Flash that James Gunn puts on his version of the Justice League. Based on all the Easter eggs that we saw during the Superman movie and the current DCU TV show so far, I still think that that's going to wind up being Wally West, not Barry Allen, but we will talk about that as we get more Easter eggs. And James Gunn has also spoken many times about what a big fan he is of Grant Gustin and the Flash TV show itself.
And then was in the, Grant Gustin, the great Grant Gustin, great guy, his TV show, The Flash, and then it's appeared throughout different media in the world of DC, including a little bit in the Superman movie.
Right after this was going down, James Gunn also responded to a fan about Grant Gustin and The Flash coming back. He was mostly joking about people rioting if he didn't bring Grant Gustin back in the DCU, saying, "I keep being told people are going to riot over things, but I am as of yet to see a riot. Love Grant, by the way." He also joked with another commenter about not knowing whether or not Grant Gustin was dyeing his hair blonde. Like, why would I know whether or not he's going to dye his hair blonde? Just trying to pretend like he doesn't know what's going on. Obviously, he knows everything that he's doing because he's the one that's making all the plans. But I do think that he's being honest in this fact, because Grant Gustin later chimed in reacting to all the new DCU Flash posts, saying that, "As anyone knows, I will always welcome the opportunity to play the Flash again." So there's your confirmation that if James Gunn does want him in a movie or TV show, he will come back and do it. Then he says, "Having said that, my hair is long and blonde for a project that has nothing to do with the Flash or any other superhero. Love the energy, though." Like, he really enjoys people posting about him coming back as the Flash. And even though it is a little sus that he posted this while he was sitting right underneath both of his Flash TV show posters, I do think that he's being honest for the most part, and he really did just grow his hair out and dye it for another movie or play that he's working on. Since the Flash TV show ended a couple years ago, he's just been doing way more non-DC projects in general. Over the past couple of years, he has posted a lot about the Flash and reacted to fans asking him to come back when he's at conventions.
2024. I made it.
He was even posting memes about the Flash Future newspaper from Season 1, Episode 1, because a while ago we had passed the date on the Future newspaper in real life. As some of you have probably seen, there have been several Easter eggs for the new main DCU Flash and the other members of the Flash family, multiple Flashes in the Superman movie and the other recent DCU TV shows. Based on reports from last year, the next big Flash character we're actually supposed to see on screens in the next couple of years, or at least the ones that have leaked out that we found out about, are in the upcoming True Crime series that people are calling DC Crime. But James Gunn recently said that that wasn't the actual title of the show, so we don't know what the actual title is yet, but it's supposed to use Daily Planet characters who will be investigating crimes and trying to find big villains from the comics, and they'll be using that to introduce more DCU villains from the comics. The reason why we're talking about Flash characters so much, the new versions of the Flash, is because Season 1 will revolve around Flash villains. It sounds like there'll be a couple other villains, but the real big one will be Gorilla Grodd in live action. You can kind of see James Gunn's logic here, too. He wanted to wait a little beat after the Flash movie with Ezra Miller came out to just let the Flash go fallow in live action before he slow-rolled him back into the DCU as he rebooted everything. Eobard Thawne, Reverse Flash, waiting in the wings to come back, too.
Now, what the hell is that?
That's my cue to leave.
If you didn't watch Creature Commandos Season 1 when it originally came out, I did episode videos for that, so I'll link those below in the descriptions, but James Gunn introduced his DCU Grodd during that. But the way that he was introduced in that was an alternate timeline flash forward, which the TV show then walked back, like erased by the finale. So it was the same scene where they introduced all the new Batman, Wonder Woman, the new version of the Flash, Booster Gold, a ton of other big Justice League characters. So a lot of people were pointing out that that technically wasn't canon anymore because they walked back the twist at the end of the show, like they prevented that future from happening. But the new Superman spin-offs that James Gunn announced are meant to be more legit live-action HBO big shows, and it's part of a larger anthology episode plan to introduce more big villains from the comics to the live-action DCU so they can go on to other big movies, like another Flash movie in other big movies down the road. Grant Gustin's Flash TV show also used the same formula in the Arrowverse, but it also had the benefit of the other Arrowverse shows to do some of the legwork because there are so many different characters. Their budgets were always pretty small compared to like the big HBO DC shows they're doing now, so there were only so many characters they could introduce per season. But if you didn't see the news, what's going on with Gorilla Grodd in the DCU is he's supposed to debut on the Jimmy Olsen Superman TV show. It's going to be an HBO crime anthology show, like a crime drama theme, more like The Penguin, where Jimmy Olsen hosts an anthology show and investigates different DCU villains case by case. That was why you were seeing all the jokes about Darkseid in the DCU being introduced on the Jimmy Olsen show, because Darkseid in the comics was introduced in a Jimmy Olsen comic book back in the day.
Ready the Armada. We will use the old ways.
The funny thing about this is that James Gunn has also since confirmed that Darkseid is also going to be introduced in the DCU, at least in animation first, on the New Gods TV show that'll be basically the Mr. Miracle series based on his comic book, but Darkseid is a big part of that. So we will get DCU Darkseid, but not in the way people were expecting, like live action. They have not said who's going to be playing this new version of Darkseid in the DCU, but Christopher Judge, Kratos himself, said that he would love to voice the new version of Darkseid. I would totally be down for the Christopher Judge version of Darkseid in the DCU. But it does sound like the show will be kind of like a true crime video podcast, like America's Most Wanted or Unsolved Mysteries, and Jimmy Olsen just hosts it himself and investigates different DC villains, and that's how they uncover really major DC villains in live action that then go on to other big movies, like Gorilla Grodd would go on to like a new Flash movie in a couple years, and so on and so forth with the other big villains that they introduce. What we know right now about Gorilla Grodd inside the DCU, just based on Creature Commandos, is that he had been in league with Princess Rostovik with an upgraded version of his telepathic crown from the comics, like he was King Grodd already. But because that was meant to be a possible future that Cersei was showing them, which they stopped from coming to pass, they killed the princess at the end of the show, it means that that never wound up happening. So they didn't really explain what Gorilla Grodd was doing in the present day of the DCU during that. It sounds like that's what they're going to deal with during this Superman spin-off TV show. And because they are doing so many Flash villains now on these TV shows, James Gunn didn't say anything about who's going to be the main Flash during the actual show. The Creature Commandos flash forward implies it might be an older Wally West, meaning Barry Allen would be a little bit older and Jay Garrick would be very old. But it is always possible that he starts with a center point of Barry Allen, and it's a younger Wally West in the universe. There were just a lot of clues that made it seem like his eventual Justice League will feature Wally West as the Flash on that team, not Barry Allen, and it'll be more like the animated version of the Justice League team. There were actually a couple Flash and Flash-related characters like tied directly to the Flash in that Hall of Justice mural of all the early metahumans that people have found out about on planet Earth. It was basically meant to show you the history of metahumans as far as the public knew about them. Didn't mean there were secret metahumans out there, like you don't see Vandal Savage on here, but these are mostly meant to be heroes that used to be metahumans at one point. Some of them are probably still alive, though.
Because we are also of the cloth.
The really big ones were Max Mercury in his Maxwell Crandall Quicksilver form, then Max Mercury also in his Whip Whirlwind form, and the Libby Lawrence Liberty Bell, who I think they might say is the mother of Jesse Quick in the DCU at some point. There are many, many characters up there. I've already done a full video breakdown of every single one. Some of them are super deep cuts, so I'll link it below in the description. James Gunn also recently posted about the new version of Batman that he's casting for DCU Batman Brave and the Bold, the other DCU movies, the new version of Wonder Woman, and some other upcoming things, basically confirming theories that he wasn't done with the Batman Brave and the Bold script yet, and even though they've probably been screen testing actors for the new version of Batman, he's not going to announce anything or start talking about the new DCU Batman until after the Batman 2 comes out, Matt Reeves, Robert Pattinson's new movie. What he said about the new DCU version of Wonder Woman is that he wasn't casting her for the Man of Tomorrow movie, but he is screen testing actresses for a big role and some lesser roles too, but he didn't say who that new female character is going to be. People just assumed that it was going to be Wonder Woman, but it sounds like it's going to be someone else. James Gunn is known to use a lot of lawyer speak and very slippery with the way that he talks about stuff too, so it doesn't necessarily mean that Wonder Woman won't get referenced during the Man of Tomorrow movie. It just sounds like this female character specifically that people are talking about is not the Wonder Woman character. Doesn't mean that she won't be in the background somewhere or won't get mentioned. Also, Batman is supposed to be mentioned during Man of Tomorrow, but he's not supposed to appear on screen, so like they're not casting someone as the new DCU Batman for Man of Tomorrow. Everybody post all your reactions in the comments below. Let me know what you want them to do with Grant Gustin in the DCU. Do you want him to be Barry Allen or some other version of the Flash? And who do you want to play the new version of Darkseid in the DCU? Speaking of big characters coming back into the DCU, Jason Momoa coming back as Lobo during that movie. I already did a ton of videos about that. Click here for all of those, and click here for my Lanterns trailer video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.